Hey guys, Coach Sue. Happy Friday. So let's just dive into our project. We've got Mother's Day coming up after Easter. And I know everyone's working really hard on Easter right now, and that's great. But we also need to start kind of thinking ahead and stocking our shops with things that are going to make some money. So I don't know if you guys saw last year, a lot of people were doing the wine bottle flower bouquet. Well, that's what we're going to do today. What I did with mine was changed it up a little bit so that after the wine was used, they didn't have to necessarily keep the wine bottle on the table with the floral on top. I made it to where the topper could come off and sit in a dough bowl and then be repurposed for something else. It could also be put into a vase with a wider mouth. It would just sit right in the top, and just there's a floral arrangement that was multifunctional. So that's what we're going to do today. So what we're starting with is one of these little foam wedgie looking circle thing. I don't know what you call this. Anyway, these are at Dollar Tree. They have a bunch of them right now, so go get them. I've got one I've got unwrapped. This is what we're going to use. You'll see I've got a quarter here. And the quarter is what we're going to use to measure our hole that we're going to make in this so that it can sit on top of the bottle. Now I have a bottle, just an empty bottle. So at the end of the day, I'm going to put a hole on the small side. We're going to leave the large side at the top so we can put more florals in it. This will wedge right down over top, so like that. And then our florals will come out of the top and we'll make it look like a bouquet. But for this, we just need this quarter, and a marker. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and just cut a piece of felt. Now, remember I said this is multifunctional, so we want to be able to use this on a table, in a dough bowl, wherever, and we don't want the bottom of this foam to scratch whatever we're doing. We want to be able to hide this a little bit. So, make our circle for the bottom. Let's cut this out. Turn the glue gun on. Plug the glue gun in. Turn the glue gun on would be great. There. All right, glue gun's on. All right, so we're going to cut this piece of foam. This kind of makes it have a finished edge too, so you'll see what we're doing with it here in a minute. I gave these as gifts last year, sold them. These were a big money maker, and they were a crowd pleaser. Everyone that got one loved it, and they loved the fact that it was multifunctional and they could use it for other applications besides the gift that it was given in. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to glue our little piece here, and then we're going to put our quarter on here, and we're going to draw around our quarter, which we can do while the glue gun is heating up. And then we're going to get dangerous with a pair of scissors and maybe a screwdriver to carve out the hole. If you see, the quarter fits right on top of there. So that gives us an idea how big we want our hole. Maybe a little bit bigger than the quarter, but this is so you don't go too big on the front end. Now, while the glue gun is heating up, I can go ahead and cut this. So I fold it in half. I find the center of that circle that I just drew with really bad scissors here. I just cut myself a little notch there, and there you go. I'll go ahead and cut that out. All right. And this project is really quick once you get all the stuff cut and get the glue gun heated up. And it doesn't take a lot of material, meaning like supplies, fabric, or florals, to make this a really cool looking project. All right, so when we glue it on, it's going to look like that. And then we know we have to dig that out in order to slide it over the top of our our bottle. Let me see if we're working here. Oh, it's starting. I may need to give that a couple more minutes because now I have glue strings and a big mess over there. All right, so I chose for today these, the lavender bush. This is in Jen's shop right now. Don't forget to use your 20% off if you want to use this. And the number on this is 63875. That may be backwards to you, but the number again, 63875. I will link the supplies in the description like we normally do. But this bush has a lot of branches on here. It's very full once you fluff it out, and it'll be just perfect for what we're doing with this bottle. I grabbed 2 of them. And then I also grabbed the light pink 60919, which is also in shop. Because I thought we could just kind of tuck that in between the lavender. I think it'll look really pretty. Just kind of all playing off those colors together. It'd be perfect for Mother's Day or just something nice and springy. I think my glue gun has seen better days and it's about time to retire it, but yeah. Okay, let's give it a little bit of glue here. Stick that down. Here we go. All right, it's just a mess. All right. Now, when your customer takes that off their bottle, they can set it down. It's not going to scratch the surface. It's going to make everybody so super happy. All right. If you don't have tools in your workspace, get some. Now, I don't want to go all the way through. I want to go about halfway. So I'm just going to poke in here. All you're going to do is just kind of mash it around, because all styrofoam is just foam and air bubbles. So we want to get a hole that's big enough to slide down on the top of our bottle, but not too big where we go all the way through to the other side. You don't want it too deep. So just get in there, kind of move your screwdriver around a little bit. I'd say go about halfway down to about here in the foam. And then just tap out whatever you poked out of there. All right. So then we're going to test fit it. And put it on here. You're going to see if it works. In this application, it does. Now, you're going to have a bottle topper on there or cork or whatever, so you're going to have to take that into consideration. This happened to be a screw top, so I don't care. This is what was on it. Some cheap stuff that was in the wine chiller. That's it with it. Now we're going to need a bigger, maybe, but it stays on. It's not coming off. Okay, remember, we want it snug, not tight, and not too loose. We just want it snug. So that'll do the job for us. So now we get to the easy part. Well, that was easy, but the fun part, and that is decorating it. Now remember, I'm gonna put this in, and we want it to be big. We want the top of this to be like a bouquet. So imagine, so I can hold it out like this. If this is it, this would be like the size of what you're looking at. And then underneath here is like all of our paper and our bow, just to make it look real pretty. And essentially this wine bottle will end up being like a vase that it would be given in. Just think of it from that respect. All right. Line the wire cutters. And we're going to get to cutting because we don't have a lot going on here. So we've got to be able to fill in all around here, and we want to keep our florals kind of long because again, we're going for height on the top of this bottle. Let's move that out of the way. So we're going to cut them back as far as we can on here. And I'm just going to really, truly just disassemble this whole piece. All right, so there's that. We got a little baby one right here. That'll go somewhere. Here's a section here. Pull that down. Pull that down. All of this, just pull it off. Okay. There you get the low stuff. And then we have our 60919. We're going to take it apart in our 3 sections here. This I'm going to cut long in the center because I want this to be basically the top of our arrangement. I'm going to pull these apart, not cut them, just pull them apart and keep them together. Okay, so there we go. So we have our 3 pieces. We got left, right, and center. Okay, the center. Before we put it in the arrangement or in the styrofoam, we want to separate it out. We want to be able to see it. We want to bring it to life, per se. And it is glued to, there we go. So we're going to take each individual branch, pull them apart, just separating them so that they dance around a little bit. So whenever you get florals, you don't see them all tightly packed in an arrangement. They're designed to look like they're doing something more than just sitting there being pretty. With these wires, I like to just curl them around my finger and give them a little bit more personality than what they had. All right, here we go. All right, so we've got it all separated. I'm going to poke it right down in the center of the arrangement and try not to go through the hole like I just did. Get a little glue on it right there so it stays right where I put it. Okay. Let's go in with the next piece of the 60919. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to separate all those individual little branches, bend them if we need to, give them a little bit of life. It's going to look scrawny with just this on here until we start filling in with the lavender bush. Like these, I like to bend down. Like I like to give them a little bit of a bend closer to the neck so they kind of flow out. That look cool. All right, so that one is ready. I'm gonna cut this, whatever we had here, I'm gonna cut it about in half of from here to here. I'm gonna cut that right there in the center at an angle. And I cut it at an angle so that it goes in better. All right. I'm gonna come in at an angle right here. And I'll poke it in. I'm going to give it a little spot of glue. And there's that piece. Ooh, found the glue. Okay, don't do that. I mean, what were the odds? Pretty good, right? Okay. Slide that over. Same thing again. Separate it out. Pin these down, because we need a little bit of that spill effect. Cut in half at an angle. We're going to go just on the other side, also at an angle. A little more glue down here, hold it in place. I won't touch it this time. All right. Okay, now let's come in with our lavender and see what we got. I don't really have a certain way to do this. They're all pretty. They all kind of dance around these little cute little pieces, and I'm just going to start poking them in and filling in. Whatever we don't have covered at the bottom after the fact, we can either come in with a piece of felt around here and kind of just really dress it up just to finish it off so none of the guts are exposed, or we come in with some moss. We may do both. I haven't quite decided yet. Just kind of depends on how much coverage we get with these pieces. There is no rhyme or reason. Like in nature, if you go to throw out a handful of wildflower mix, it's going to land where it lands. And birds are going to carry seeds and they're going to drop them wherever they want. And that's kind of what makes any flower garden special, is because it doesn't have a pattern. And it's what makes our design special, because really no two are alike. Even if you're trying to make duplicates and do double door designs, they're not exact. And that's okay. That's makes them unique. And I like that about this business and just people in general. Everybody's different. Everybody has their own element that they bring to the table. And I like that, because you never know what you're going to get. It's kind of like life is like a Cracker Jack box. There's a prize in there somewhere. And you don't know what it is until you get there. But somehow this one decided it was going to poke out the side. So I'm going to fix that wire and make it pay attention in class. Here we go. All right. So I'm just poking these in. Kind of just fill in as we go. I'm just turning and poking, filling it in. I like that 60919 in the middle. I like that it kind of hangs down. I'll put it at this angle so you can see how we've got spillage coming on. And then we've got the fullness on the top. The little baby that I didn't know what we were going to do with. We're just going to, again, just poke it in here. Poke it in. I want some coming up to where they're kind of coming through the top of the 60919, and then some just kind of falling over. Oh, we're losing participants here. Okay. Now our bow is going to be in the packaging, not so much in the arrangement. We will put some tails in here, but it's more going to be wrapped around the actual bottle and the tissue paper and presentation. All right, here's what we have so far. I'll turn it so you can see it all the way around. Yeah, we're still seeing this, so that's okay. We just may end up having to cut a piece of felt around the bottom because we'll still have spillage. I think the felt is neater than moss that tends to get away from us at times and gets a little messy. So we'll make it a little nicer like this. Now, part of also having the spillage effect, like I said earlier, if we put this in a dough bowl and it goes on, like a very small dough bowl, and it goes on somebody's, say, like their kitchen table or on their counter or something, then we have a really nice little centerpiece. It's just a multifunctional gift. And this, put on the top of our wine bottle, looks something like this. I know this is a bad angle, I'm sorry. All right, I think we need this other bush. This time, I'm going to pull the sections out like this, because I do want to keep this piece intact this time. I think I want a little more height in the center of our design. So I'm going to cut that center one right down here at the base. At an angle. It helps to get it in the foam. So you end up with a piece like this. And I'm going to pull these apart versus cut them this time. So we get a little bit longer sections. Now these can be bent over. Like that. It's going to help to lengthen our design this way, horizontally. Another piece. I kind of want to come out this way a little bit with it. And here we have actually two. All right, so now you can see we've got all three bushes in here and how full it has made this little mini arrangement. Now I think what I want to do with this is I want to add some flowers in the top of this, and we have I think these lilacs will be pretty. These came from At Home store. They were $7.99 at the At Home store. This is the Grace Mitchell florals. Just pull that off of there so we can separate these out. All right, and sometimes they are glued together, so we just kind of give them a little tug and they'll come apart. All right, so now we have our lilacs, and I think we should, much like the others, we're gonna cut these at an angle. Or we're gonna let them dance in here. So I'm going to do a little bit shorter. Okay. There is no rhyme or reason for how I do it. It just kind of what I think would work. And I think that's what everyone needs to be doing when you're doing your designs. You find what works for you and you roll with it. I think I want this one long. I'm just going to take the tiniest bit off the end here. Go right in the center. I say that. All right, and I'm going to bring up some of these lilac or the lavender up around the lilacs. Here, look at what we have here now. I chose the angle in the camera for this purpose so that you guys could see a little bit more up close of how it's going to look. I felt like the last video was a little too far away. This gives you a little bit more of a bird's eye view. So, there you go. All right, these I feel need to come down a little bit. And I feel like we're still in need of another flower in here. Either we go with another 60919 to kind of pull some of these little berries here a little bit more throughout, or we tuck in some roses. I think roses may be the way I want to go. Nope, I got one. All right, I think these are gonna do it for me. These also cute little with the little pink buds on it. These are also from the At Home store, the Grace Mitchell line again. I'd already cut some of these apart for another project, so I think they're going to be perfect in here. And again, we're just poking in. We're filling in the blanks. We're making it look like it was meant to be. I'll give everything a little bit of a bend because we don't need it to go straight up and down. But you're just going to find a spot and you're going to poke it in there. You can take some of these little shorter pieces like this and put them down at the bottom, kind of aiming over, and we can start filling in the side of this thing. So that we have it right here kind of coming down. You don't want it to come down too much because of when it's on top of the bottle and we wrap our tissue paper around it, we don't want to squish everything that we just put in here. Now, I have not put glue on this. I'm going to do this after. I kind of feel like if we get too much glue on the styrofoam as we're poking everything in, it just makes that basically like a big scar, and you can't poke through it, and it makes a big mess. All right, what do you think so far? I think we need something right in this area. There we go. All right, I like this. Now, what I'm going to do is, before I get too much further, the florals, is I want to go around the base of that foam, this part here, with a piece of the felt, so that when it is sitting on the bottle, you don't see the actual foam. I would prefer to do that than to use the moss, I believe. So let me see if I can get an eyeball here on how much felt I need. Yep. So I'm going to run should be just about what we need. See? I'm going to line a glue. I'm going to line up the edge of this felt with the bottom piece, and I'm just going to go around. This will also help the felt, or the the foam from getting that crumble effect that we don't like. It gets gritty on everything. Get the snap, crackle, pop going. Okay, and then there's the end. Now there's a little part that's exposed there, but I'm going to pull some florals over it and you won't see that. All right, now we have a more finished looking piece. Centerpiece, dough bowl piece. I'm going to go get the dough bowl. I'm going to stop, take some photos of it in the dough bowl. I'll do a better version of it on the bottle with the bow, and we'll come right back and finish it up. Here we got a little, this actually had a candle in it, so it's like a little sugar mold or like little dough bowl, but it's cute if you're going for that farmhouse effect. And here is our arrangement in there. Okay, this is after you pull it off the bottle. Then we can swap that out for Kenzie Child's measuring cup and put it right on top. And now look. Next photo will be of the wine bottle.